So now what we are going to do is, the first one, there are 4 kinds of sentences. The first sentence is declarative. What is the first one? It is, declarative or affirmative sentence. Now first we are doing declarative or affirmative sentence. Now it can be positive or negative. Now, Peter is coming home today. That's a declarative sentence and it's positive. Now I'm saying Peter is not coming home today. Negative. So what I'm trying to tell you is, in declarative or affirmative sentence, it can be positive statement, it can be negative statement. Now I'll put on few sentences for you. You check. You tell me, is it a positive declarative affirmative statement or is it a negative declarative statement? You tell me. You find out yourself. So the first one is, Sam went. Sam went to the market. Sam went to the market. Another one, I came from America. I came from America. I came from America. And the next sentence here, we will have. We will have the party tomorrow. We'll have the party tomorrow. And then we have Sham is a hard-working farmer. And finally you have they did a wonderful job. Now, you tell me now, Sam went to the market. I came from America. We will have the party tomorrow. Sam is a hardworking farmer. They did a wonderful job. Now, all these are declarative or affirmative sentences. Now, is it positive or negative? They are all positive, declarative or affirmative sentences, all 5. Now, we can change these into declarative, affirmative, negative sentences. All we need to do is, Sam went to the market. I am going to change it into declarative or affirmative, negative sentence. So we have all this as positive, declarative, affirmative sentence, all positive. Now, I will do this orally with you, and again I will do negative, declarative, affirmative sentence with you. Now, Sam went to the market. Now you give me the negative one. Sam did not go to the market. Or Sam will not go to the market. That becomes a negative, declarative, affirmative sentence. Next one. I came from America. I did not come from America. We will have the party tomorrow. I'm making it to negative. We will not have. We will not have the party tomorrow. That is a declarative, affirmative, negative sentence. And here, Sam is a hard working farmer. Sham is not a hard working farmer. That makes it a negative, declarative, affirmative sentence. They did a wonderful job. They did not do a wonderful job. Okay? So, how do you make it negative? Sam went to the market. Sam did not go to the market. I did not come from America. We will not have the party tomorrow. Sham is not a hardworking person. They did a wonderful job. Negative, they did not do a wonderful job. So, you can always change the positive, declarative, affirmative into negative. The next exercise, we will do negative, declarative, affirmative sentences for us to grasp better. Now, we will do declarative or affirmative negative sentences. What are we going to do? We are going to do negative sentences. So, it's all going to be negative. Now, let's look at it. First one, Tinku does not do his homework. Tinku does not do his homework. Now, what does it declare? It says homework. He does not do. Now, I said declarative. They are declaring Tinku. Yeah, he doesn't do his homework. They are affirming Tinku doesn't do his homework. Now, I said declarative, affirmative can be positive or negative. Now, is this a negative sentence or a positive sentence? Yes, it is a negative. Now, how will we change the negative into positive? Tinku does his homework. It's a declarative or affirmative, positive sentence. Tinku does not do his homework. It's a negative sentence. We'll take another sentence now. He never waits for anyone. Now, it's a declarative, affirmative sentence. What kind of sentence? He never waits. So, it's a negative, declarative or affirmative sentence. Let us change it to positive. He never waits for anyone. You can say he waits. He always waits for anyone. Or he often waits for anyone. He waits for anyone. So that becomes positive. Another one, sentence, don't be impatient. Don't be impatient. Don't be impatient. What kind of sentence? It's a declarative sentence or it's an affirmative sentence, and don't be impatient. So it's a negative, declarative or affirmative sentence. Let us change it. Don't be impatient. You can say, please be patient. If you say be patient, it is a positive declarative sentence, but here negative. So we saw it is don't be impatient. Next one. Next one is he is not a lazy. He's not a lazy boy. He is not a lazy boy. What is the positive one? He is a lazy boy. It is a declarative or affirmative sentence, and it is negative because they are telling he is not a lazy boy. Make it positive. He is. He is a lazy boy. But here it is a negative form, is not a lazy boy. Then we have, no one can live without air. No. No one can live. No one can live without air. Without air. No one can live without air. So that's a negative, declarative, affirmative sentence. No one can live. Now, change it into positive, declarative, or affirmative. We can live. We can live without air. No one can live without air. No one. We can live without air. Now, we cannot, all these sentences are negative, declarative, or affirmative sentences. We can also change them into positive. Still it remains a declarative or affirmative sentence. I will give you some more sentences, declarative or affirmative or assertive, whatever you call, for us to again review and understand. Okay, so here are some more declarative, assertive, affirmative sentences. They all mean the same. First one is, the football match are interesting, are very interesting. Next one, I will never do it again. And the next one is, Sarah is a hard-working girl. And the next one is, none of the books book stores, none of the bookstores has a dictionary. Read these sentences aloud for yourself. I do not like carrot. I do not like carrots. And then you have here, he never tells lies. He never tells lies. Now, I have got 6 sentences here. They are all declarative and affirmative sentences. Let's check out. Is it a negative sentence or is it a positive sentence? The football matches are very interesting. What are we declaring? What are we affirming? That matches are very interesting. So here you have a declarative or affirmative or assertive sentence, and it is a positive sentence. Okay, so you have a positive, declarative or assertive sentence. I never do it again. You are declaring, you are affirming, you are asserting that I will never do it again. And you have here a negative, I'll never do it again. If you change this, what will happen? I will never do it again. I will do it again. Huh? Now, Sarah is a hard working girl, and that's a positive, declarative, affirmative, assertive sentence. Can we change that sentence into negative? Sarah is not a hard working girl. She is not. Then it becomes a negative. None of the bookstores has a dictionary. None of the bookstores has a dictionary. That is negative. Can we change the positive? All the bookstores have dictionaries. All the bookstores. Then, I do not like carrot. That's again negative. I do not like carrot. Now, how will you make it positive? I love carrots. I do like carrots. Okay? He never tells lies. He never tells lies. It's a negative, declarative, assertive sentence. And if I make it positive, he tells lies. He always tells lies. Now, the birds are flying. It's a declarative, affirmative sentence. The birds are flying. How will you make it negative? The birds are not flying. Okay, now, we did not go to school today. We did not go to school today. That's a negative, affirmative, declarative sentence. We will not go to school today. Or we go to school today, positive. We go to school. We have to go to school today, positive. And negative is we did not or we do not go to school today. And finally, Geeta is a very good girl. It's a positive, declarative, affirmative, assertive sentence. Geeta is a good girl. Now make it into negative, declarative sentence. Geeta is not a good girl. Now, supposing you say this room, my classroom is large. Then you say it's a declarative sentence and it is positive. My classroom is not large. My classroom is not big. When you add that not, then it becomes a negative sentence. So, we can change a positive declarative into negative declarative sentence. That's what we learned now. We have done the declarative sentence. Now we will do the second part. The second kind of sentence is interrogative. Second part one is interrogative. A sentence that asks, a sentence that asks a question. A question is called an interrogative sentence. Interrogative sentence. And that's what we are doing now. A sentence that asks a question is called an interrogative sentence. And in this sentence, the sentence begins with a capital letter and it ends with a question mark. Because question, interrogative is question. So it begins with a capital letter, always ends with a question mark. Okay. Now I'll give you few questions, few interrogative sentences for us to practice. Now first one, why? Why were you late? Why were you late yesterday? question mark. A sentence that asks a question is called an interrogative sentence. Why were you late yesterday? Begins with a capital letter, ends with a question mark. Now, have you, next one, have you done your lessons? Have you done your lessons? Question mark. Have you done your lessons? Why were you late yesterday? Another one. All these are interrogative sentences. A sentence that asks a question is called an interrogative sentence. Where do you live? Where do you live? Again, ends with a question mark, begins with the capital letter, and that's called an interrogative sentence. May I sit down? May I sit down? Teacher will make you stand in the class. What will you ask? May I sit down? Or you go somewhere to somebody's house. May I sit down? Interrogative sentence ends with a question mark, begins with a capital letter. Does he play? Does he play? Question mark begins. And finally, you have one more question. How old are you? How old are you? How old are you? Again, it begins with a capital letter, ends with a question mark. Now, a sentence, any sentence that asks a question, we call that an interrogative question, interrogative sentence. Now, here we have 6 interrogative sentences. First, why were you late yesterday? Begins with a capital letter, ends with a question mark. Have you done your work? Begins with a capital letter, ends with a question mark. Where do you live? Begins with a capital letter, ends with a question mark. May I sit down? Begins with the capital letter, ends with a question mark. Does he play? Begins with the capital letter, ends with a question mark. How old are you? Begins with a capital letter, ends with a question mark. And all these 6 sentences, they are all interrogative sentences, beginning with a capital letter and ending with a question mark.